Hi folks, John Kitts here, playing Sailaway the Sailing Simulator. Yeah, so the first thing I want to point out is that my last several videos, the sound was incredibly low, at least in some formulations. When I played it on my own computer, it sounded just fine. But then I tried it on laptop and a cell phone and a tablet. They all sounded very low. So I managed to have four of the recordings left behind. So I re-recorded them, remastered them, and uploaded them again. So hopefully there is some adjustment has been made. Um, Other than that, here we are. While we were sleeping, while I was sleeping, we traveled from here all the way to here. So we're off, I'm not quite sure where the border is, actually. We're either off the coast of New Brunswick or the coast of Maine. So we're just going to, you know, we're going to sail anyway, down that way, and see what happens. So by the looks of it, first of all, up here and the true wind speed is only 2.9 knots, so we're not going to be busy sailing at any great speed. Um, Looks like, trying to think, the wind was the other way. The wind was going from west to east, and now it's going from southeast to northwest. So, in terms of our angle, we're okay. We should have actually probably a Jenniker. Well, maybe not completely downwind, but we're getting there. So let's start by taking a look at the trim. And yeah, it wants me to raise the Jenniker. Just notice that. Lower the Jenniker, raise the Jenniker, because we're not picking up a heck of a lot wind-wise. So before we make other adjustments, let's try to do just that. We'll use Q and E to find the right halyard. We want to lower, so we're looking for the Genoa sheet, and we're going to scroll like crazy and try to lower the Genoa. And as you can see, it is lowering. Scrolling the middle mouse key as quickly as possible. I can adjust that, I think, in the settings for the entire game. Okay, from here, we're going to look for the Genoa, or the Jenniker halyard. So now we raise that like crazy. So we're going to collect more wind and hopefully move with a better percentage than we had been. So we'll scroll that up. We're at roughly 100%. We're at exactly 100%. And let's see if it wants me to do anything first. Oh, the Jenniker sheet is too loose. They want me, oh, the sheet. So the Jenniker sheet. Oop, Jenniker sheet is too loose. So you want me to take a look at the whole thing rolling as we move it. So, oh, it was a lot loose. You can see it kind of flapping. Oh, that's the pencil. Okay, everybody's happy here. Let's jump to the mainsail. And it's too flat, ease the yacht haul. Also said to remove the reef. Let's do that first, so that way we can use the yacht haul in the Cunningham. Trailer reef. It's already off, but it just didn't look like it. Okay, so we've done that. The main sheet is too loose. Try to pull it. Okay, the main sheet. So that's the main sheet right here. try to tighten that up somewhat. Probably see these telltales start to straighten out. Okay, so we're straight on one side, the other side's a bit floppy. Take a look at that. How's our speed doing? Well, we're picking up a bit on the speed. The mainsail's too flat, so ease the out-haul. So let's see if we can find the out-haul. Ease the out-haul. I am now using the out-haul. I don't want to ease it down to 0 because that can be a problem. So let's put something back on the out-haul. And let's move to either the Vang or the Traveler, because the top of the main sheet is too tight. The top main sheet. So the Vang, by tightening that, would pull that down. I'm assuming it's going to make it tighter up there. The top of the mainsail is too tight. Ease the Vang. Easing the Vang was too tight. Easing the Vang, so you want to loosen it up. So let's look for that main Vang. We want to ease that, and that was enough to do it. The main sheet, the main sail is too flat. Ease the out-haul, which we can't do. Now the out-haul. Pretty sure the out-haul is here. The Cunningham is in there. So it's too flat, so we would loosen it up a bit. So I wonder if I tried loosening the mainsail is too flat. Let's try main sheet. No, that didn't back up at all. Okay, now they want us to ease the Cunningham because of the curve. And you can actually see the curve. Let's see if we can find that curve. There, the Cunningham. Oh, ease the Cunningham. Didn't see anything change there. Now let's try the out-haul again. Ease the out-haul. Using it quite a bit, and it still doesn't make any effect. So there's probably something else, or changing the wind direction. I forget which is which. That's the apparent wind. Right now, in terms of the true wind, we are at, what's that, 120 thereabouts? How fast are we going? 2.7. Let's see what the Jenniker is saying now. The Jenniker sheet's too loose, so that's what we kind of saw that with our own two eyes. Jenniker halyard. Jenniker sheet is too loose. There we go. Now we're heading at 2.5. Things are going to go really slow here, folks. So we'll have time to play with the tutorials. But first, let's take a visual look. I don't need this stuff anymore. It's just not leading anyway. So we're just pretty much sailing flat. Although that, well, the speed did reduce, but whether that was the reason or not, we don't know for sure. Could try putting it back on. True wind is still at 3.8. No, nothing happened over here. Okay, So we're pretty much sailing flat, something we don't often see. Okay, so look at the GPS. It would take like a half an hour for us to get to our next location, next waypoint. So we'll scroll up. See, we just passed that one. Looks like we're over halfway to that one, but we're going so slowly. So let's try a tutorial. Come down to activities, click into tutorials. Okay, how sails work. I don't think we did apparent wind. So let's try that one. So you need to sail the Sailaway cruiser 38 feet. Do you want to switch your Sailaway cruiser switch to? Okay, this is no, this isn't. What is this one? Coast something or another. Anyway, we got to switch. So there we go. We don't have to worry about adjusting things over here. So this is our cruiser. What's the info on this? What's the size? It's not going to tell us. It's going to tell us from there. We'd have to go into the escape main menu to find out what the boat's like. Let's just close that down a bit. Okay. Always against the wind. If you ever rode a bicycle, you wondered why you hardly ever have the wind in your back. This tutorial is for you. No wind. It's a beautiful day with no wind at all. The boat is dead in the water. So you see over here, 0 wind speed. Boats are going for nothing. Although we do seem to be in irons as well. Moving forward, we don't have an engine, but let's suppose the boat would have one. You start the engine and the boat starts moving forward with respect to the sea and the air. Okay, we start moving forward. That's all it's going to tell us right now. Feels like wind. Standing on the boat, this would feel like wind, even though there is no real wind. Still no wind. Although apparently we have some speed now, but it doesn't show it there. But you're going forward, of course, you know, the wind's in your face. We're going to feel the wind. The speed of the boat. It appears as if there is wind, even though the true wind is still 0. This self-created wind is called the apparent wind, which is over here. Doesn't reflect what's going on. The speed of this apparent wind is, in this case, equal to the speed of the boat. Okay, so that doesn't reflect it, as I said before. If we were going, then it would, the apparent wind, but not the real wind, the apparent wind, we would feel that as equal to the speed of the boat. Now, with 90 degrees, let's see, we've changed, jumped suddenly. The wind 90 degrees, the wind has picked up and is coming from the side of the boat at 90 degrees, as we've turned off our imaginary motor. The wind's picked up to 10 knots. We are at 90 degrees. We should see some speed here. Navigation with the true wind direction is 90 degrees and the true wind speed is 10 knots. You can check it in the navigation window, assuming that's there. It's a true wind, not the apparent wind. The apparent wind should be different. Okay. Wind adds up. When the boat starts moving, tilt time. Wow, picked up a lot of speed in a hurry. 7 knots already. When the boat starts moving, it produces its own wind again, but this wind is added to the true wind, which is still coming from the side. Together, they form a wind that seems to come slightly more from the front of the boat. This one here, because we're moving forward, so the apparent wind, it would seem like the wind's further forward. So, oh, it's down here as well. The navigation window. Check it in the navigation window. Do you see the second needle, which is that little shorter one there? True wind speed and apparent wind speed. The true wind speed direction, the TWD, is still 90 degrees, which is what this says. But the apparent wind direction, AWD, is about 50 degrees. It's more like a 60 to me, but we'll go with 50. The true wind speed. Now check what has happened to the wind speed. The true wind speed is still 10 knots, roughly. But the apparent wind speed is now 12 knots, roughly. Which makes sense, right? Sails. This apparent wind speed is the wind we feel on our face, and it is also the wind the sail will experience. I find that a little hard to grasp, because it is the sail that's producing it. Still producing it. It's feeling it because we're moving forward. Well, a little bit of the hull is producing it as well. Okay, the sail. Wait a second. Okay, the sail is catching the wind and moving in a forward direction. But because the hull is shaped the way it is, it's forcing the hull to move ahead. It's still a bit strange to me that this is considered both a producer and a feeler of the wind. Or at least the full amount of the wind. Conceptually, that's a bit hard for me to grasp. Okay, faster than the wind. This is why some superboats can sail faster than the true wind. It's because they don't sail on the true wind, they sail on the apparent wind. The faster they sail, the stronger the apparent wind. Okay, it's the apparent wind. The apparent wind doesn't produce motion. It's just what you feel. No, that's not true either. The true wind is definitely producing the motion. That's at 90 degrees. And because the bow is shaped the way it is, wind's blowing from the side, the only way it can go, well, it's forward or backwards, but it's not going to go backward because the stern is flat, so we're going forward, which is going to produce more wind, which we feel as the apparent wind. That's what they're saying is the apparent wind even adds to the motion, which is hard for me to grasp. Changing AWD, we also, so the apparent wind direction changes gradually the faster we go. Okay? But when the boat speed is 0, the apparent wind direction is equal to the true wind. Okay. Adjusting the sail angle. This means that the person who controls the angle of the sails to match the apparent wind has an important task. The sheets have to be pulled gradually as the boat picks up speed, and the angle of the apparent wind changes. wind has come around further because it's dropped off. No, it hasn't dropped off. It's still roughly 10. So you would want us to tighten the sheet. So if we tighten the sheet, it's going to go faster, which is going to force the parent wind further that way. Let's see what they tell. Oops. Did that go twice? Back to zero. The boat does not move much anymore, and the AWD is roughly 90 degrees again. Okay. Now match how the sheet is gradually pulled while the boat picks up speed and the AWD changes. Now match how the sheet is gradually pulled, okay, got that, while the boat picks up speed and the AWD changes. Well, that's what we were saying before. Hope this is all some sense. Hope this all made some sense. Well, mostly. And let's check on our little boat, see whether we're still happy. We are still now in real time, and we're off the coast of Africa where it's starting to get dark. But if we hit escape, go to boats, that's where we are. It's the offshore racer, that's what it's called. Okay, so we click on that, jump back into our little course outline here, and our apparent wind is coming into the bow, but the real wind is coming in towards the stern. They didn't cover that at school. Looks like we're okay. The real wind. Do we still need the Jenniker? Let's okay, first of all, we're still 47 minutes away. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. The mainsail is too flat. This is the mainsail. Try to ease the outhaul. The mainsail is too loose. Try to pull it, or the main sheet. So let's try to find the main sheet wherever it is. Main sheet is too loose. Too loose. So now we're back to the Cunningham and the outhaul. The curve in the mainsail is too far forward. So this is the curve about here, as I can see it. And it's too far forward for this particular setup. And they want us to ease the Cunningham. Jenniker, main sheet, Cunningham, to ease the Cunningham. Okay. And now let's see if we can ease or do something with the outhaul. They want us to ease the outhaul, but it's already. Even if I go to zero, I can't do anything. So I want to leave out something to play with. Okay, the mainsail, now the Jenniker. The Jenniker sheet is too loose. Try to pull it until the telltales are even. Let's go a little bit further ahead. Don't see any telltales on the Jenniker. Jenniker sheet is too loose, so Cunningham is over here. Jenniker sheet is too loose. Okay, that's a little right. Now we're okay. The wind has picked up a little bit, and we are at a speed of 3.1. Just checking my time, see how much time I have left. Okay. So going back to my GPS, we're still half an hour away from our next waypoint. So let's hit escape again. back to activities, go to tutorials, and that's the apparent wind that we just did, and these are the telltales. So let's take a look at the telltales. And this is the diagram that we had before. Optimal performance. The performance of a sail is optimal when it functions like it's the same one we did before. When the angle of the sail is too tight, the airflow of the backside of the sail. Okay, when the angle of the sail is too tight, airflow at the backside of the sail will release. Okay, so when this is too tight, so it's not catching enough of the wind, so that swings that off a bit and you get a bit of a funny going on there. When the angle of the sail is too loose, the airflow at the windward side of the sail will stop. Again, it's catching too much wind now, so the wind, instead of following the line here, heads straight over that way, and so you get little whirligigs in there. Invisible. Unfortunately, the air is invisible and we can't see if it flows smoothly along the sail or not. Telltales. This is what the little strands are for. They are called telltales, and they visualize the airflow along the sail. Ta-da! Now, pull sheet. Pull sheet, I think it's probably. When the telltales on your side of the sail, assuming you're in the back, that's the windward side, are flapping, that means you need to pull the sail in a bit, pull the sails in a bit with the sheet. Right. That's what we had before. It was causing a problem, so it's because it was too loose. The wind is going straight. We want to tighten it up a bit. Ease the sheet. So when the telltales on the opposite side of the sail are flapping, it means you need to ease the sheet, or ease the sail out a bit with the sheet. Right. Now, lay off, or lay off. Of course, this only works when the angle of the sail is almost perfect, not when it is way off, because there will be no airflow at all then. Telltales are only useful for tiny corrections on the sheet angle. Okay, so what would be better would be for us to actually turn the boat a little bit so it is in the good direction to the wind. Steering. A good helmsman also uses these telltales to steer the boat, especially upwind, when there is little room to adjust the sail angle. So we're sailing more to the direction of the wind. So, okay, we're sailing into the wind. The good helmsman also uses these telltales to steer the boat, especially upwind, when there's little room to adjust the sails. Okay, when you're sailing upwind, the sail's coming at you mostly from the front side, because if it was straight into the wind, it would be in irons. So when you're too close to irons, you don't have much to adjust. You really have to steer it more in order to create more speed, I'm guessing. Bear away. Sail away from the wind a little when the wind telltale is flapping. Okay, so when you get this problem, sail away from the wind. When the windward telltale, okay, so when these telltales are flapping and you turn more to the wind, that will tighten it, make it tighter, or have the effect of it getting tighter, so that these little things will disappear eventually. Steer up towards the wind when the opposite telltale is flapping. Well, now they're saying, well, you're steering up towards the wind. A little bit lost here. Okay, thanks. We hope this made sense. The best way to learn is to experiment and practice. And we want to go back to our little ship. We've run out of time anyway. So we are already back in the little ship here. And we're almost half an hour away, so that's not going to happen. And here's our little boat. Here we are here. This direction. We could probably steer more toward the wind. I wonder if it's telling us to pull down the gennaker. It does. Lower the gennaker. Raise the code 0. Okay. We really don't have a whole lot of time. In fact, we're already 31 minutes in. So we'll have to leave it till tomorrow. So please do hit the thumbs up button. And perhaps even the subscribe button. But most importantly, leave a comment. In this case, tell me what the sound is like, because I adjusted the sound with a remix using DaVinci Resolve 15. I know 16 has been released. So I did a remix. I increased the sound levels, decreased other sound levels, played around with it. So now if it's way too loud, please let me know. Even let me know if you suddenly are able to hear what I'm saying, and in which case you will probably have something to tell me that I'm really confused. So also leave a message in general. Let me know what you feel about this game and gaming in general, especially if you're a senior citizen or an otherwise marginalized individual. Look, we can actually see the coast up there in the distance. Okay, so until next time, please do take care.